The iron gates of Blackwood Manor groaned like a dying man, a mournful sound swallowed by the oppressive silence of the overgrown estate. Ethan clutched his camera, the cold metal a stark contrast to his clammy palms. He was a journalist, a purveyor of facts, yet here he stood, a willing participant in a ghost story. The manor loomed before him, a skeletal silhouette against the bruised purple of the twilight sky, its windows like vacant eyes staring into nothingness. Rumors clung to this place like the ivy strangling its stone walls. Tales of strange noises, spectral sightings, and a family legacy steeped in tragedy. Tonight, Ethan intended to capture more than just rumors. He was here for the truth, whatever form it might take. He pushed the gate, the screeching protest echoing the one in his own mind, and stepped onto the grounds, officially crossing the threshold from skeptic to explorer. The heavy oak door swung inward with a surprising lack of resistance, revealing a cavernous hall frozen in time. A thick blanket of dust coated everything, preserving the scene like a macabre snow globe. Moonlight pierced through the grime-caked windows, illuminating ornate furniture shrouded in white cloths, their shapes resembling a congregation of silent phantoms. The air was heavy and still, thick with the scent of decay and forgotten memories. As Ethan moved deeper into the house, his footsteps were the only sound, each one a dull thud on the marble floor, yet he couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. A door down a long hallway creaked open of its own accord, a silent invitation into deeper darkness. He raised his camera, its night vision mode painting the world in an eerie green glow, and saw them. Flickering, indistinct shadows that darted at the edge of the frame, always just beyond clear focus, gone the moment he tried to center them. In what must have been the master library, Ethan found it. Tucked away behind a loose brick in the grand fireplace was a small leather-bound diary, its cover warped and stained with mold. The pages were brittle, the ink faded, but the elegant spidery script was still legible. It was the personal journal of Alistair Blackwood, the manor's last known resident, dated over a century ago. The initial entries spoke of a happy life, of love for his family and pride in his home. But the tone shifted, growing more frantic and paranoid with each passing day. Alistair wrote of a presence, a shadow that lives within the walls, a malevolent entity that whispered his name from empty rooms. He described its formless shape seeping from the corners, its cold touch a constant companion in the lonely halls. The diary was a chilling chronicle of a man's descent into utter madness, driven by the very house he once loved. Ethan's hands trembled as he read the final entry, the words scrawled with such force that the nib had torn through the fragile page. "It knows my thoughts," Alistair had written. "It feeds on my fear. I see it now, even with my eyes closed. It's right behind." The sentence was left unfinished, but Ethan's mind supplied the final word. A sudden, impossibly cold breath washed over the back of his neck, extinguishing the beam of his flashlight and plunging the room into absolute, suffocating darkness. The silence that followed was more terrifying than any sound, a void waiting to be filled. And then Alistair's last recorded words echoed in his mind, no longer read but heard, as if whispered directly into his ear. "It's behind you." A faint ethereal light began to coalesce in the blackness before him, slowly taking the shape of a tall, gaunt figure. Outside, the first light of dawn began to paint the eastern sky, chasing away the long shadows of the night. The manor stood silent as it always had. On the damp, leaf-strewn ground near the front steps, a single video camera lay abandoned. Its screen flickered to life one last time, displaying a distorted, glitching image of a terrified face staring into an unseen horror. Then, with a final burst of static, the screen went black, leaving the secrets of Blackwood Manor once again shrouded in darkness. They say some places are born bad, repositories of sorrow and despair. Blackwood Manor is one such place. Silhouetted against a bruised, stormy sky, it looms over the landscape like a forgotten headstone. For over a century, it has stood empty, a silent monument to the family that vanished within its walls without a trace. Tonight, I intend to break that silence. The Gothic iron-wrought gates groan in protest as I push them open, a rusted chorus welcoming me to a place where history and horror are one and the same. This is not just an investigation. It's a descent into a local legend from which no one has ever returned. The heavy oak door shrieks as it swings inward, then slams shut behind me with the finality of a coffin lid. The air is thick and stagnant, heavy with the scent of decay and forgotten memories. My flashlight beam slices through the oppressive darkness, painting a scene of arrested decay. A grand hall, once the heart of the home, is now a mausoleum draped in thick cobwebs and dust. Rotting furniture stands like skeletal remains, their fine upholstery long since surrendered to time. I move cautiously through the dusty corridors, each step echoing into the profound silence. Every shadow seems to writhe at the edge of my light, and the feeling of being watched is a palpable weight upon my shoulders. The house is waiting. As I venture deeper into the mansion's labyrinthine layout, a sound cuts through the silence, faint yet sharp enough to stop my heart. It is a chilling, delicate sound that has no place in this ruin, the soft, innocent laughter of a child. It echoes from the upper floors, a spectral melody that seems to drift down the grand staircase, beckoning me upward. My breath catches in my throat. The story spoke of the Blackwood children, but to hear this ghostly echo is something else entirely. Against every instinct screaming at me to flee, I begin to ascend, drawn towards the source of the disembodied mirth. The unsettling sound guides me down a long, narrow hallway on the second floor. At its very end, a single door is slightly ajar. Pushing it open, I find myself in what was clearly a child's nursery. In the center of the room, under a layer of grime and dust, sits an old, creepy rocking horse. Its painted eyes seem to follow me as it sways gently on its own, a silent, rhythmic motion in the still air. The laughter is stronger here, seeming to emanate from the very space around the horse, a phantom's game played out for an unseen audience. The temperature in the room plummets and the air grows heavy, charged with an unseen energy. With my heart pounding against my ribs, I slowly approach the rocking horse, my camera trained on its unnerving movement. As I draw closer, its gentle swaying ceases and the laughter abruptly stops, plunging the room into an oppressive, suffocating silence. The sudden stillness is more terrifying than the sound it replaced. I stand frozen, every nerve on fire, waiting. Then it happens. The laughter erupts again, no longer distant but loud, sharp, and terrifyingly clear, sounding as if it's coming from directly behind my ear. The final moments are a chaotic blur of pure terror. The camera swings wildly as a rapid montage of horrifying images assaults the senses. A fleeting glimpse of a ghostly child's pale face materializes in a cracked mirror on the wall. Down the hallway, doors slam shut one by one in a violent, percussive wave. Shadowy figures, tall and thin, dart just at the edge of my flashlight's beam. Too quick to capture but impossible to ignore, the last thing you see is a view from outside the manor. The camera pointed up at the nursery window. For a moment, the light from my flashlight is a beacon in the darkness. Then suddenly it is extinguished, plunging Blackwood Manor back into the absolute eternal night.
All right, guys. Daniel here. You know the place. The old Blackwood Manor, just on the edge of town. They say no one stepped inside for 50 years, not since the... Well, you've all heard the stories. The sun's going down, giving the whole place this creepy orange glow. It's now or never. The front door is boarded up tight, but I found a side window that's been smashed open. Wish me luck, I'm going in. The air inside is thick, heavy, with the smell of dust and decay. Every surface is coated in a layer of grime, and cobwebs hang like tattered curtains from the ceilings. My flashlight beam cuts through the gloom, revealing peeling wallpaper and furniture draped in white sheets. Like silent, waiting ghosts, I can hear the wind whistling through the broken window panes, but underneath it, there's something else, a soft whisper, almost like a sigh, seems to follow me from room to room. I keep telling myself it's just the house settling, but the sound of creaking floorboards from the floor above me is hard to ignore when I'm the only one supposed to be here. The tension is real. My heart is pounding in my chest. Each shadow seems to twist and dance at the edge of my light. I'm heading for the main staircase now, trying to keep my breathing steady. The whispers are getting a little clearer, almost like a name, but I can't quite Okay, I'm on the second floor. It's even colder up here. I've checked a few of the empty bedrooms. Just more dust and rot. But this last room at the end of the hall, the door was slightly ajar. Inside, sitting on a vanity table, is a small wooden music box covered in a thick layer of dust. My hands are shaking as I wipe it clean. It's surprisingly ornate, with intricate carvings on the lid. I have to see what's inside. Here it goes. As I lift the lid, a jarring, out-of-tune melody begins to play. Each note scraping against the suffocating silence. In that exact moment, a deafening crash echoes through the mansion. Bam! 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 Every single door in the house slams shut at once, plunging me into absolute terrifying darkness as my flashlight flickers and dies. Sound of panicked, heavy breathing in complete darkness. A few frantic, rustling sounds are heard, as if fumbling with the camera or a light. Is anyone there? Hello? The breathing gets faster, more desperate. A long, drawn-out pause of silence. A sudden, piercing, blood-curdling scream fills the audio, followed by a sharp crack and an immediate cut to loud, buzzing static.